Hello and welcome back to Around on a Bike's Base Camp and my series about my favorite YouTube channels. First of all, yes, I know that I have gotten fat, and this t-shirt, people say it's now too small for me, but I just say it's bigger on the inside. One thing that I want to tell you about making this series is that it's been giving me a lot of new tips for new channels for me, because when I post these videos I get messenger and emails and SMS, everything. I get tips on YouTube channels. Some of them I have already seen or I follow already, but I have gotten some pretty interesting channels that I have now to explore in the winter darkness. So that's been very, very good. Anyway, the channels that I'm going to present for you today is Joe Rust, Got to Go, Motorcycle Adventure, Dirtbike TV, and Matthias Eriksson. So I hope that you will enjoy this and maybe you get some new channels to watch as I have gotten. So let's start with the first channel today, which is Joe Rust Adventures. Jolandi Rust, or Joe as she's called, is a South African woman, and this girl inspires me on so many levels. She is an instructor at her own motorcycle training facility, Joe Rust Adventures. She is also author of Woman Alone Around Africa, which is a gripping story about her 2011 world record breaking solo ride around Africa, when she became the first woman in history to circumnavigate the continent. We often hear these kind of specifications like the first female or the only female, which I find a bit unnecessary. It's like women can't compete on the same level as a man. This is proven completely wrong by Joe Rust, especially in her training videos where she literally rides circles around any other rider, man or woman. Here she's showing what she calls the elephant turn. Joe also takes us on trips, like this International Female Rider Day in 2015, with both exciting water crossings and other cool stuff. I imagine it must be a dream for an adventure motorcycle rider to live in South Africa and have this in your backyard. Okie dokie. I promised myself when I started planning this series that I would not tell you which is my absolute favorite channel of all of them. But I can tell you that Leah Reek and her Got to Go is one of the top two without saying too much. Leah is one impressive, inspirational and altogether brilliant person. She's got a degree in art history, business administration and law. Leah is a journalist, which is pretty obvious when you hear her narration. This is a proper pro working. Also, Leah has the most fantastic sense of humor, which is clearly weaved into her storytelling. Leah circumnavigated the world solo in 2016-2017. And now she is busy ticking off what she missed on her previous trips. So she started with riding down the west side of Africa and made the series West Africa. In this series, Leah gives one of the best life advices I've ever heard when she says, "Find someone who looks at you the way I look at ham and my drone." This trip was supposed to be divided into several legs, with some time in Europe in between. Unfortunately, COVID-19 spoiled her plans, and she didn't have a chance to get back to her motorcycle in Benin. Instead, in July 2020, she opted to travel north setting her goal on reaching North Cape. She managed to get some pretty spectacular footage, even if it was raining the lion parts of the way through Norway. So we have reached the third channel for this episode, and that is Motorcycle Adventure Dirtbike TV. Dave Darcy is a former police officer based in Sydney, Australia, and he makes videos on a proper professional level. He produces both feature-length videos as well as series. One of my favorites is the wicked series Magadan Motorcycle Adventure. I've watched it many times and I still love it. Here we follow Dave and his mate Renat when they ride across Russia, overcoming seemingly impossible obstacles. This is more than a wicked portrayal of an epic motorcycle trip. It's also the story of the forming of a lifelong friendship. Something that I personally have experienced that motorcycle riding can do. Dave really knows riding, and he really knows filming, and he really knows editing, and he really knows narrating. In the 1 hour 16 minute film Motorcycle Adventure Cape York, this is more obvious than ever. We follow a group of riders taking on the extreme jungles of the Northern Territory in Australia with a very capable rider Nugget. This is hardcore riders performing the highest level. It's not child's play. Admittedly, the conditions on the trip were extreme, but even under the ideal circumstances, I know that I would struggle to reach the finish line. How rewarding it must be to reach the goal on a trip like this, and how lucky you would be to have a filmmaker like Dave Darcy in your group. Okay, the last channel of this episode, Matthias Eriksson. This is a guy with remarkably similar interests to my own, both when it comes to riding and everything around riding, but also the stuff that goes on when you're not riding. So yeah, he's a really cool guy, and he's got a really good YouTube channel. Matthias also likes going to motorcycle shows and film, which is something that I do, but I haven't seen a lot of it in the motovlogging community. He also likes going camping, and camping is something that I love, and I love watching videos where other people are camping. Might be a bit of a nerd, yes, but that's the way I am. He also enjoys cooking outdoors, even if he is on a few levels above me. I do not have an axe sharp enough to slice tomatoes. It looks absolutely delicious with those chanterelles in the mix. I can almost taste it. Matthias has filmed some of the Swedish TET, the Trans-Europe Trail. So if you're planning to come here and explore these fantastic gravel roads and trails, this might be a good watch for you to include in your preparations. Just like me, Matthias rides all year round. And if you don't, if you prefer the comfort of the couch, check out the excellent Winter Adventure Ride and Wild Camping from December this year, 2020. Here we follow 7 riders taking on the sub-zero temperatures both on the motorcycles and in their hammocks. Pretty hardcore if you ask me. Matthias is also making kit review videos where he looks at different kinds of equipment and add-ons. Like here in this video, he's testing a handlebar bag that now obviously I can't live without. Thanks, buddy. So that was all 4 of our YouTube channels this week, but I'm not letting you go just yet. I want to show you a little bit from a ride I made with some friends in September. I was filming, but I never did anything with the footage. So I thought I'd throw a bit of a montage together for you and put it here in the end. Normally, I'm not a big fan of riding in groups. I think that 1 or 2 mates is just enough. But this day, we were more. And we had a great day out on gravel roads and trails. We even had a typical Swedish fika next to a lake. If you like my videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, click on the little bell symbol for notifications. If you want to become a part of the Around on a Bike community, why don't you follow the link below to my Patreon page and see how you can get early access to all my videos and postcards from my trips, plus a bunch of Around on a Bike stickers. That's all for this week.